I'm Sham and I'm back with a brand new track, and I was attacked by a crackhead with a power tool. What a hook, right? That's the way to get people attracted to the story I am about to tell, and it is absolutely buck wild. That was just one of the many events that occurred in Spokane, Washington. Let's go to the beginning. This person on Reddit 2 years ago, so we're talking fall 2023, reached out and they're like, hey, if we come to Seattle, will you take us train hopping? After pondering a little bit, I'm like, okay, let's give it a go. And it ended up being a young couple, Michelle and Nate. And they parked their car at a hotel because I felt like it'd be a safe location. They agreed. I'm in the area and I've never seen any sort of like tow truck messing around with, the parking lot or anything like that. Anyways, we ended up catching out, and I wanted it to be a short hop just because they're newbies, and hey, I'm not going to try to invest in any sort of long journey. Again, I've been solo my entire life, like 99% of the time, and I kind of just want to dabble in this type of stuff. Seattle to Spokane, we get to Spokane same day because we caught out in the early morning, explore the city, beautiful city, Spokane. I love that the river is cutting through it and there's waterfalls and, mini waterfalls and stuff like that. They end up being able to leave the same day because they had scheduled Greyhound tickets back to Seattle, but I decided to hang around a couple days. Slept at this park near the water, and this is dumb, but I will admit everything because I want to be transparent, because we make mistakes in life. But I had my phone under me while sleeping in this bench at that park. I wake up and the phone is gone, and I'm thinking there is no way somebody could have pulled this off. I would have detected them, I would have sensed them, things of that nature. I'm dumping stuff out my bag. I'm looking so hard. And after a while, I say, okay, let me go to the library, which is right there. And I've got my Google services tied to my phone, which can track location. I log into my Google, and sure enough, the phone was stolen. It was 1.5 miles away, and I need to get going to see what's up. And I did have an incident before. I was at Planet Fitness at the gym, and I traced my cell phone to a house, confronted the person, and they gave it up. So I'm kind of please, just come on, give me back my phone. I'm not sitting here to attack you or do anything like that. I just want my phone back. And I walk to this place, and the neighborhood is just getting shittier and shittier, shadier and shadier. Knock on the door, and this old woman who's strung out answers the door. Confront her about the cell phone. She doesn't know anything. And behind her, I can see a couple individuals at a table with needles, getting ready to inject themselves. I understand addiction, mental health, all that stuff. So I'm not going to be judgmental, but it gives you a sense of the people I'm going to be dealing with. Knock on the door again. When she shuts the door in my face after, a bit of conversation, knock on the door again. And this younger gentleman is willing to chat. And he admits that there's sort of this cell phone hustle reign going on, and that this woman shows up with a laptop and she's able to unlock cell phones. Gives you a sense that there is an active operation to go around and get cell phones, and then, hey, they're going to resell them and make some profit and stuff like that. And I tell him, hey, do you have a sense of maybe who might have taken it? He's like, okay, I'm going to take you to this house. The house I was just at is a trap house, because while we had conversations, there'd be cars pulling in, people walking in and out, and all that stuff. So I knew they were involved in shady activity, and hopefully this dude can, pull through. We walk a few blocks. end up confronting this other dude, and I just have a sense that he doesn't have it. And he's like, hey, that other house, the one that I visited about my stolen cell phone, the trap house, you guys got my bike. I was fixing my bike for my kid and you guys took it. So he follows us back as part of this group. And we stand outside as the guy from the trap house who took me to that guy goes inside to figure out more details. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. He doesn't come out. So I open the door and I'm just like yelling in the kitchen area, come back out, I need my phone, blah, blah. People just looking at me, disregarding me. The dude who wanted his bike back was still outside. I don't know what happened to him, whatever. Because I go around to the front and I'm so pissed off. I knock at the door. Somebody answers, and again, the same scene. A few people sitting around the table getting ready to inject themselves. Now I'm just completely heated. I've accepted defeat, but revenge is on my mind, even though I'm really not that type of person. And I see this chair in their front porch. And I grab the chair and I just freaking chuck it, slam it against the front window. It shatters, and then I run back because they had a fenced area in the front lawn. I run to the other side of the lawn and I'm just waiting for the reaction. And some dude comes out. I can understand why he's pissed off, just starts cussing at me, yelling. I do feel a bit sorry because it's like I penalized them in this. I basically like guilty by association in a way. And when really only one person stole my phone, right? Whatever, it is what it is. And then more people start coming out and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta just run. So I'm sprinting through Spokane, taking alleys, back streets, all that stuff. And I get, into downtown and I pause a bit, kind of scan my surroundings, see what's up. And I end up sleeping there, but then, everything is, chill. I didn't end up getting found, no more dealing with those people. And I search because I'm hungry, I'm homeless, been homeless for several years, and I find a nearby spot downtown that serves food. And before their lunch, everybody's lined up and I was just in a bitter, sour mood. And I forget what I was saying. I was kind of like just whatever, mean to some people. We go get lunch and it goes in waves. So you sit down, then they, okay, women first, old people, then the rest of you. And I noticed that the people initially were getting a lot of food. So when I came up and didn't get much, I made a comment, again, my fault. I need to be thankful, which I am, again, 99% of the time, to this, older gentleman. And I go back and I'm starting to eat my food, then I feel somebody reach over my shoulder and try to grab my tray. I look back and it's that dude that I'd made the comment, you're not giving enough to the rest of us. He's like, oh, you're not grateful, you think the food sucks. I'm like, no, I don't think the food sucks. I just think that you just didn't give enough comparative to the people before us. Again, tries to grab my tray, blah, blah. I finally stand up, I've had enough, and I shove the guy, and he goes across the room, and then all of a sudden I'm attacked by 4 or 5 people, wrestling, grappling. We end up near the front door, because I'm sort of getting shoved back. You can only resist so much, right? Now I'm outside, and a group comes out and they're cussing at me, trying to be all aggressive. And then I see this dude with a power tool, with a freaking reciprocal saw. It's not plugged in. He looks straight out of a Mad Max movie, and he's making these threatening actions, whatever. I'm always gonna give my background. I wrestled for one of the best teams. I was an MMA amateur champion, all that stuff. I know how to defend myself. And then the older dude, who is, in shape, even for being, in his 50s, tries to attack me, and I shove him again, and blah, blah. And then the police end up showing up because the people who were managing that place called them in. And I explained my situation, I was preemptively, assaulted in a way. You're going into my personal space, touching me, trying to grab stuff. Like, okay, we're gonna review the tape. They didn't do anything. They're like, okay, well, nothing happened. And I'm like, come on. Somebody without permission touched me multiple times in an aggressive manner. My theory is that they didn't want to upset the local homeless people. That place was established. So if the police were to give them issues, then there's a risk that those people would give them issues. And also, as we were in the middle of this confrontation before the police come up, this one dude sprinted across the street, and there was apparently somebody who'd, overdosed on fentanyl, and they were going to give him Narcan. It was just an insane buck wild scene. So, cops are like, "You're trespassed." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm never going to come back here again. What's the point?" Walked back to the library and then did my research because I didn't have my phone to go off of. And the really depressing part was, again, I'm an idiot. From Seattle to Spokane, every single time I wanted to take a picture or video, I had to keep logging in. So I took my protection off in terms of like entering a PIN, but I forgot to redo my PIN once I got into Spokane. And also my Cash App was completely up, like open. And I had $250 stolen from the people who stole my phone. It showed up a name, and I'm sure that's the girl that was doing the cell phone unlocks through her laptop. I can't do much, whatever. It is what it is, I'm willing to admit mistakes and shortcomings because that's the reality of the situation. You do this long enough, train hopping, urban camping, stuff like that, bad stuff is going to happen. You need to accept consequences without bitching too much or I'm just trying to be real, okay? So I'm like, how the heck am I gonna gain access back to like my Google Photos and storage and all that stuff? So since the phone service was still active, I'm like, hey, I can order another SIM card, get a new phone. Thankfully, one of my buddies helped me out. So once I regained access of my phone number through the SIM card, plugged it into the new phone, and then used that as authorization to get my Google account back. Because if you don't have that, Google accounts are like near impossible to retrieve unless you have certain proof. Thank God I was able to retrieve my data. I swear it was one of like the worst days of my life when I came to the realization that I may have lost all this data of my journey, which is as extensive as it gets. So yeah, that was, I eventually totally relocated to the other part of Spokane, and then, okay, why is it zooming in on me? Spokane, and ultimately I decided to take a bus back to Seattle and continue my constant train hopping over the last 2 years. So what I forgot to mention is that couple, when they came back to Seattle, found out that their car was stolen, the one that was parked at the hotel parking lot. They found shattered glass there, called the police. And as they were chatting as that cop was chatting, back with dispatch or whoever, his station, he said he got a call from another police officer that had found their car, and the way that their car was found was because their stolen car crashed in back of a parked car, which had been pulled over by the policeman. What are the odds? But, their car was totaled. I totally felt bad, but that's just bad luck. So when I'm like, hey, you guys won't believe the story I'm about to tell you, which is the story I told you guys, they're like, no, you won't believe the story we told. So it was that Spokane train hop overall was just completely insane. There's story time with SHAM. Countless stories. Gonna slowly reveal them over time. Hope you enjoy and hope all is well.